This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you are the real star of today's show. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the news. And happy Friday to everybody out there. And I know we all love Fridays because for traditional working people, it is the end of the week, and it is a good time to get out there and have fun. We got lots planned for this weekend. Lots of racing going on, lots of good things going on, including some cool sim racing news from around the world. So we're going to talk about all of that. And of course, you guys are the real star of today's show, because if I just said this to myself, I'd just be saying it to myself. But I'm saying it to you guys, and you guys lend your opinion and your thoughts on various topics. And you guys are also the source of many, many stories that I bring to you on the news each and every day. So thank you for being a part of the pit crew. Thank you for making this show so much better than it would be without you. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in sim racing. And what started out as a slow day has sort of picked up in pace already. So we're not being disappointed on this Friday. But let's start off with Project Cars 2. And they've announced their skill rating challenges, World Time Attack challenges. And they got a bunch of different regions. But what's cool to me about it is it's not just a matter of the regions, but that they are also, we talked about this a while ago, their implementation of the rating system. So based on your rating will affect which division you're in when it comes to these online time attacks. So if you want to be the world champion, you're going to have to start by getting your skill rating up to 2,000 or above. I have no idea how hard or easy it is to achieve a 2,000 rating in Project Cars 2. If that's hard to get to, that could be a good way of qualifying the guys in that division. Challenger division will be ratings from 1,800 to 1,999, and the Master division will be 1,600 to 1,799. Excuse me. So, they say they will tweak those during the season. So I'm assuming that the skill ratings will change, and as they do, they're going to go ahead and make adjustments to those numbers. But it's a great thing to see from Project Cars 2. This is one of the things that I think has really made iRacing very special over the years, is their rating system and their ability to make it so that you are truly racing against the guys you belong racing with, or as best as can be done. Great to see that going to Project Cars 2, especially as it's being implemented into their official Esport type of stuff. So that's pretty cool stuff, and you should go get that rating up and see which division you can get in. Great thing about Time Attack, sort of like a lot of the other challenges that we've been talking about, you don't have to, you can put in whatever time you need. You don't have to go crazy. You just, you know, if you want, you can go for the top. If you want, you can just see where you stand. So, time attacks are very fun competitions, just if you're looking for something to do this weekend, like I said. Next up, out of WRC. Oh, what happened to my image here? Come on. We'll come back to There it is. They have revealed their official Esport calendar. So we knew this was going on. We've talked about it a lot, but here are the actual dates and the actual events that will be going on their Esport. So if you want to start practicing, getting ready. And again, I'm going to keep pushing you guys to go after some of these Esport competitions. And you've heard my concerns about who's going to own the Esport world and all the time, and I think we need to go take it while it still can be taken. And that actually takes me to my next story, which is the BAM Esport Project Cars 2. And, you know, this is exactly, and congratulations to these guys. BAM, Thrustmaster team, they won the competition in Project Cars, the game. And again, here's my point. I'm not going to go on and on. This is not going to turn into one of my rants. But when this whole thing started up, where were the invites? I don't recall getting an invite. Mitchie, you're here in the chat. You're a dominant racing team in the sim racing world. Do you recall getting any invites? To be honest with you, I don't even remember them officially making a sign up where, like, how, you know, now obviously BAM Thrustmaster team, they got in there, they knew. Maybe they had some inside information on how the competition was playing out and how to get involved. But we're going to have to be a lot more diligent. Me as the Simpit, me as the guy bringing you to the news, and you guys as sim racers, you're going to have to be more diligent in finding these competitions in time to enter them. And, you know, I know we all think of ourselves maybe as not being as fast as some of these guys, but I don't buy that. I think we all have it within ourselves. It's just a matter of focus, concentration, and building your skills. If you want to become a great baseball pitcher, it's just not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to do some work on it. You're going to have to take some advice from some other pitchers, You're going to have to learn some tricks along the way to be the best. And no different here in sim racing. So, next up, TT Isle Man. You know I'm anticipating this game coming in March. They have just launched on Steam. So, we're just a little more to whet your appetite for it. So, you see it pop up on Steam, available in March, and it starts to give you that feeling of imminent release. So, best of luck to Clioton Games through Big Ben Interactive on finishing this up and getting it out as hopefully as bug-free as possible and not needing a million, patches and fixes. Billy Strait just brought up a great point, and this is sort of the similar angle, a different way of saying it than what I've been talking about these esport competitions. So you bring in a big group, you bring in a marketing company, you bring in a company that's run competitions of sorts, maybe not sim racing competitions. You hire, the cameras, the lights, the stage, everything it's going to require. You've spent millions of dollars at this point. Here we are, sim racing, running on a $500 wheel, playing each night with our friends. They don't know who we are. They're playing at a different level. I think for me is I'd like to see them do the research. Go to Sim Racing Observer, grab that ranking polls, and start inviting the best of the best, not just guys that I don't know. There is no right or wrong, and there is no official, this is how it's happening. I guess my concern is that they will not take a look at the sim racing world. Sure, everyone knows who Gregor Hutu is, but does everybody know who Martin Kroenke is? Why is Martin Kroenke not getting an invite to every single one of these events? He is the only person to have ever beat Gregor Hutu 3 times in a row. And that, coming from being in sim racing for over 20 years, that is a huge statement to make. I mean, 20 years running, and I can't think of anyone else who has topped Gregor Hutu more times than Martin Kroenke. But and for all I know, in all fairness, maybe he is getting his invites. He's just not doing them. Maybe he's so in iRacing, the World Championship Series, he's not making time for the other disciplines. Excellent, Dan. That is great to hear. No, Dan got an orange one. He got an OG shirt. So, anyway, congratulations to TTIL, man. I don't know how I got on my side rant there. Nobody knows who those guys are outside of sim racing. Okay, here's my thoughts, Sky, and this is where I guess now it is going to turn into a rant. If I were going to start a new show tomorrow that covered ceramic pot making, it's my obligation and my duty as somebody who is now going to start this ceramic pot making competition to research. Not just go get a sponsor, put a bunch of money out, and see what happens. You want to do it right? Do it right. I think it's kind of a cop-out to not go do a little bit of work. Pick up the phone, call Assetto Corsa and say, hey, who is the best of the best? Pick up the phone, call Project Cars. Who is the best of the best? To just randomly do it and have a secret bro handshake deal on who's getting in. And again, I could be completely wrong about everything. So take it for what it's worth. This is my thoughts, my opinion. Billy gave us his thoughts and opinion on it. But, anyway, we're way off topic. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Next up, coming to us from Gravel. And this is sort of interesting. Free Porsche DLC is on the horizon for upcoming Racer Gravel. So the game hasn't even come out yet. And they're already announcing free DLC that's in the future, because DLC would imply you get the game, it's not there. You have to then download the content later, DLC. Porsche. I'm trying to think, is Porsche still a real big deal in the dirt world? I know they've done 911 rally cars in the past, but is Porsche a big deal in the off-road world? Porsche's a big deal. It's one of my favorite car marquees on the world, on the planet, in the world. But what's its spot in this? And did they pay to get Porsche? Did Porsche pay to get in there? You got to really wonder. Yes, Dave Despain is retiring. That is very, very sad news. I guess we're really going to have to push the sim tunnel to a whole new level in the name and of Dave Despain. So, Yeah, I agree, Billy. Again, I agree with Billy 100%. I think they just don't care. If I'm Visa and I'm bringing in $500,000, I've done my part. Now you fools can come find my competition. So, I remember when the Visa Vegas happened, I was almost unaware of that event going on. Like, if you didn't dig under a few rocks, you wouldn't have known until the selections had already been made. And at that point, you're now a spectator. So, this story comes to us from prnewswire.com. And it's talking about Allied Esports Arena opening March 22nd in Las Vegas. We just talked about the Dell or Alienware version. Last month, we talked about another one being built down here in Los Angeles. So we are seeing more and more purpose-built esport arenas. You know, the Rams are playing at the old Coliseum, waiting on their new stadium to be built. We're now waiting on esport stadiums to be built in our honor. And I say our honor, maybe we won't grace those stages, but this is our hobby, our sport, our interest. So, yeah, in the historical rally scene, they are huge, Porsche, getting back to that comment. Next up, and this kind of goes to the topic we were talking about yesterday of the esport program for NASCAR. And Richmond Raceway launches a season-long esport program on NASCAR Heat 2. So and I believe this one actually has a prize where you will actually, and I could be wrong, I have a lot to read each morning bringing this to you. But this one, right, I believe that you, a VIP guest gamer, who will wheel the number 28 Richmond Raceway Toyota. So it looks like the field for the races apparently will be determined at random, with Richmond selecting 39 fans who use hashtag Richmond Esports on Twitter. Talk about not finding the best sim racers on Earth. How do you get in? You're randomly drawn for talking on the Richmond... But keep in mind, what is their point? When we talked about NASCAR needing esport, this was because NASCAR's viewership has been declining for a decade. And what are they going to do to turn that corner? What are they going to do to turn that around and start growing, or at least maintaining what they've got? So anyway, that article is at nesn.com. And again, by the end of this weekend, I will have the website updated. So by Monday's show, I will have the links to all the stories I talk about on Monday on Monday's show at the Simpit. So I promise you that for starting Monday, you'll be able to follow and go to all these links at thesimpit.com. Next story. A lot of debate about the next topic, and I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to mention it so that you can all know about it. That's all. And then I'm just going to move right on. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I have no problem with that. But I'm just going to mention it because it is sim racing news. William Marsh of Sim Racing Paddock. So we talked about Dan being here with his great channel, Billy Strange being here with his great channel, and William Marsh with Sim Racing Paddock, who's done a couple of controversial videos, actually. One of them called Why He Left Inside Sim Racing. And his latest is, his title, I Found Out Who Bought Inside Sim Racing. So this has been a long time rumor that Darren stepped down after selling the company and leaving it in the hands of whoever that new ownership is, with John Sable carrying on as really the main star of the show. With all that said, no one ever knew who purchased it. William Marsh has some pretty good logic, pretty good information on who he feels bought the company, and it is not fact. I am not saying this is absolute. This is William Marsh's thoughts, his investigation, and if you haven't seen or heard about it, you might want to check it out, and if you don't care, you don't care. That's good enough for me. And my last news story of the day is, I have this at racerstuff.com. I understand it was at Reddit. For some reason, iRacing did not put this on their Facebook page. They did not put it on their Twitter page, which I think is a little odd because it's actually really big news about what's coming in iRacing in 2018. They talk about AI. I had a conversation, I think Billy and I talked about this yesterday, that AI and iRacing could be a lot of fun. Fun factor is one of the things iRacing lacks massively when comparing it to other sims. Fun factor is just not there for me compared to Project Cars. AI is one of those things you can do. to make it a little more fun. You already have the ghost mode, but this is going to be different than racing against your best lap time. Beyond that, they're talking about the dynamic time of day, moving clouds, day to night, working night and day on day to night, and that is one of their big goals of this year. New graphics, and physical damage models. Damage model would be awesome. I think they've had good damage physics, bad damage graphics. Maybe they'll improve on that. Once again, another new tire model out of Dave Kemmer. New interface and user experience, which I haven't been using the new UI. I don't know if it's a huge improvement. I'm kind of like one of those old dogs, doesn't want to learn new tricks sometimes. So I've been still using the old version or the hybrided version of the two. But really good article. This is at iRacerstuff.com. You'll also find it at Reddit. And if you want to know everything, this is right out of the words of Tony Gardner, the president of iRacing. So you're getting it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Didn't mean to call you a horse there, Tony. Beyond that, that is the sim racing news. So I'm going to just finish Friday's show off with telling you a few things that we still have going on for the rest of the week here at the Sim Pit, just so you'll know what's going on. And beyond that, we'll bring this show to a close. So, very special guest is going to be on the show today. We have another interview lined up for today at noon. That's like 2 hours, 45 minutes from right now. It's somebody who's been on the show before, and it's somebody that I have a lot of questions for right now, and that person is Rudy Van Buren. Rudy Van Buren was on the show. He is one of the best sim racers on earth. He was the winner of the McLaren Logitech World's Fastest Gamer competition. Not only did he win his online heat, but he won the in-person heat, and the guy's now lined up to work for McLaren. I don't think we can talk a ton about the actual job and what he does at McLaren, but we can talk to him a lot about the competition and getting there. We also know... Whoa. Something is killing me. Richmond, go away. What else is now killing me? Wow, that was weird. Sorry. Anyway, Rudy also has one of the golden tickets to the E-Rock event. And he's going to be going up against 4 other sim racers, where 2 of them... And I'm going to get the answer from him. I'm still not 100% sure. Is he in to the racing event, or is he in with the 5 to pick 2 that go on to the real competition? Either way, I believe even the sim racers get a shot at the real car in their pre-competition competition. So, I do have a lot to ask Rudy about, and I think it's a great time to talk to him, because one of my questions is just going to be, man, how do you feel? Are you just on top of the world? Anyway, if you are a Patreon member, you're going to want to be there. We will have the VIP channel going for expressed questions to Rudy during the interview, and it should be really cool information. I think this time we're going to just talk about sort of the ride he's on, and more about the fun than the mindset of the racer. So it will be a different interview, and that's coming up today at noon. Beyond that, tonight at 6 p.m. we'll have race 2 in the McLaren F1 GTR Sim Racing System Series. Last night we had a terrific race. I had a really good race. It was a fulfilling race that wasn't super eventful, but it was a really good race. So you might want to check that out. And beyond that, we'll be there racing tonight. And if you haven't joined us for any of these races, please come join us. I would so much rather you raced with us than watch the stream. Either one. Both are happening at 6 simultaneously. But if you go to simracingsystem.com, you can get a free membership there, and you can be racing with us on Assetto Corsa tonight. We'll be at Road America in the McLaren F1 GTR, and it should be a great race. Beyond that, you've seen some of the practice between me and Mitchie Hoyer, who's been my crew chief, and really helping me get prepared for the Roar before the 24. Now, the race time slot, there are 4 slots. Let me try to zoom in on this for us. Whoops, moving the wrong things around. The Roar is going to be, there are 4 time slots, and they're all in GMT. So, the first one is Saturday at 2 o'clock GMT, which I believe is 6 o'clock tonight Pacific time. Beyond that, 5 a.m. and then 9 a.m., 1300 GMT, 1700 GMT Saturday, and then a 4th race on 1400 GMT. I am planning on running the Saturday 1700 GMT. That is 9 a.m. Pacific Coast time. I will be streaming my race. We will have Mitchie Hoyer, and maybe Spatial, was it you who wanted to be my secondary spotter? We might have more than one voice in the background helping me with the race. You'll have me trying to race for 2.4 hours. I believe that's 2 hours, 24 minutes. I've done a lot of preparation. I'm feeling pretty strong, and I don't often say that. I don't feel like I'm better than most, or I don't feel like I'm better than the best, but I feel like I'm maybe better than most. So that will be going on tomorrow morning, and that is probably going to do it. That, between everything else going on, that'll probably exhaust me and be the end of the content through the weekend. And then we'll be back, of course, on Monday with the pit stop and everything else going on here at the Simpit. So that is going to do it for today's show. I want to once again thank you guys so much for being part of the pit crew. Thank you guys for comments on the stories, having your own opinion, making this show, shit, we're 21 minutes into this show. This could have been 4 minutes if I just blew through the news and gave you the links. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making it so much fun. Thank you for being part of the pit crew. And if you haven't, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, check us out on Facebook, do all that good stuff to help us grow. That's going to do it today. Have a great weekend. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.